Welcome back to another video on Field of Play TV. As you can, got a nice special. That man, how's it going, bro?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on.
No, it's a pleasure, man. Sanch, what are you telling me, man?
Yes, bro, you good? Stat man, thanks for coming on, man.
My pleasure. Wait, my pleasure or your pleasure? I don't even know what that saying is, but you know what I mean, kind of thing, innit?
We're saying our heads were scrambled from that transfer window. It's mad.
Listen, man, United put me under pressure, man, especially towards the end. Anthony, the De Jong saga, flipping, oh man, don't get me started on that.
No, it was a mad transfer window. So it started without the transfer window even starting, with all the rumours that was coming into United. And no better place to start, I would say. Literally. Chat to me, boys. What we saying, man? We've obviously had egg on our face, I would say, for the whole window, obviously chasing De Jong and obviously not getting him, having linked with Arnautovic, Rabiot. I can go on with all the players we've been linked with. What's your thoughts, that man, in terms of the ins and outs that United obviously done this transfer window?
I think now the window's obviously finished. I'm relatively happy with how the window's gone on it. Obviously, when we got those players was a problem in my eyes. We should have got them a lot earlier, let Ten Hag work with them in pre-season. Like you saw with Arsenal. Jesus was there in pre-season. Jesus was banging in goals in pre-season. And look how he started the season. Very well. So obviously, that's something I criticize for the club. But overall, Ten Hag's got his targets, or most of them. Anthony's the players he's worked with. Martinez he worked with when he started off well. I'm relatively happy. Maybe outgoings, kind of upset. We should have got a bigger fee for James Garner in my eyes. The rest of them, we haven't really sold anyone else other than maybe Andres Pereira, which I thought was a good deal, £10 million. But other than that, like, we didn't really do much in terms of that aspect. But overall, I can't really complain in it. I'm relatively happy with the window we got. Casemiro as well, forgot to say, talk about him. Like, you've already seen it, like the couple times he's come on, he's looked very, very good. Yeah. Listen, that was an area of the pitch that we needed to improve for how many years? And we've got one of the best midfielders or holding midfielders in the world in my eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. I would say that's the most disappointing thing. For me, letting Garner go point blank, period. But getting a little fee for him like that, it's like, what was you doing? Because they were telling us we needed, the reports coming out close to the club, they were telling us we needed to let Garner go so we could use that money for our transfer and budget. So what was really the story behind that? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, it was a lot of...
I think the fee is what, £9 million plus 6 million adults taking it to 15. Like, come on, man. Like, unless you're gonna buy someone with that money or use that money elsewhere, maybe like a late Tielemans deal on deadline day. There was no point in my eyes. Like, you might as well keep him because on the ball he still has quality. And let's be honest, like, we saw Gibbs White go for how much?
That's literally what I was just about to mention.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's come off a good loan at Forest. Either give him a chance or you could have got a much better fee.
No, literally. What are you saying, Stan? What's your thoughts on obviously the business that we've done?
I'll just touching on really what Statman said. Really, I'm more. My annoyance isn't with regards to the ins. I'd say again, it is more with the outs. I agree with you guys with obviously Garner, the fee. Should he have gone? Should he have even gone? Is a question. But my main gripe is more the players that are still at the football club. I feel like we still have 3 left backs, way too many centre halves. Obviously, the main one, big talking point with Ronaldo up top. Should we have let him go in the end? I just feel like we could have got some better deals with the guys that did leave and more people leaving out the building, full stop. With regards to the ins, yeah, can't really complain. If I was to complain, I would say maybe there was more pressing issues to maybe go after. But that's just me being a little bit picky. You can't do everything in one window. So with regards to who we did bring in, the only thing I would say is that maybe there was more pressing issues to solve before the ones that we have already. But with regards to just the guys we brought in, I literally can't complain about any of them. So yeah, like Statman said, relatively happy. And the important thing now is that we build on it either in January or in the summer, because without building on it, we'll just be going around in circles again. So next summer is as important as the one that just went by.
No, literally. So yeah, all in all, I'd say most United are relatively happy with the incomings. Obviously, there's a little sour taste in everyone's mouth with the De Jong saga that went on all season, but ending it with Casemiro and Anthony, can't really complain, especially when you're getting one of the best DMs in the world, one of the most, upcoming sort out talents in Brazil. You can't really complain. So in that aspect, yeah, I would say United fans are happy. But the outgoings, the whole merry-go-round around the transfer window, yeah, we won't be fooled. I'll say that for free. We won't be fooled. So yeah, they need to follow up, just like Sanch said in the summer. I mean, in the January transfer window and the summer, because then, yeah, it'll be mad. Arsenal. What are we saying for Arsenal? A lot of United fans don't really want to be. A lot of United fans don't really want to be chatting about Arsenal right now. But talk to me, Sanch. Their business that they started off with in the window. What you said?
To be fair, I hadn't really paid attention until really yesterday, and you looked at who they brought in, and it wasn't many bodies, to be honest with you. It was obviously they brought in Jesus and Zinchenko, and obviously the Vieira, the Vieira fella. But outside of that, I think they signed a few more, but it wasn't obviously to that level that Jesus and
from Sao Paulo or something like that.
yeah. So yeah, it wasn't of the obviously level of Jesus and thing. They needed a striker. They got one. The Zinchenko one was a bit of a weird one because you thought they had Tierney, but obviously I feel like even the fact that they did have Tierney already, Zinchenko still brings another dimension. They've obviously both just recently won the league, both played a major part. So I feel like them two signings in particular, pretty impressive. You can't really complain with them two if you're an Arsenal fan. But after them two, you would have thought maybe could have done maybe a bit more. I'm not gonna lie. Lost Pepe, could have got a winger. They obviously try go in late yesterday for Douglas Luiz, and you are sitting there thinking,
they flopped.
Yeah,
they flopped.
Three attempts yesterday, I believe it was. So it's like
I have to cut you off because we speak about planning, yeah, and Arsenal fans have dancing all transfer window, saying plan, plan this, that, yes, nice, cool. So why was you scrambling around on the last day to sign a midfielder? You already knew, by the way, you needed a midfielder because you knew that Partey, you can't rely on him based on his time at Arsenal. Why did it take a midfield injury to El Nene, who's not even, I would say, even a starter? Why would you then say, cool, let's now look for a midfielder? Weird planning. Carry on, bro.
But no, yeah, I agree. Like I've got to put myself in the position where, like, if I was an Arsenal fan, how would I feel? Like, do you get it? And I feel like glass half full, half empty kind of feeling, because it's like I'm over the moon with Zinchenko and Jesus, but then it's like you knew you didn't want Pepe anymore, and like you said, you knew Partey can't string more than 5-6 games on the trot. And after Partey, the guy you're going to bring in is El Neni. So I would have thought the way they're trying to push on and the way they started the season, you would have thought on top of Jesus and Zinchenko, maybe a winger and a central midfielder to obviously play with Xhaka, Partey or whatever. And I feel like bringing in that right central midfielder, they would have got and a winger, it would have strengthened them differently, like to another level. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, 50-50 kind of thing for Arsenal fans. But I'll be disappointed. If I was Arsenal fan, I'd be disappointed. I would have wanted a bit more.
That's what I was literally thinking. I can't lie. What you saying, man? What's your thought process on their whole window?
I'll be honest. I agree with everything you said. I think, listen, they wanted Bruno Guimaraes the window before in January. So you clearly wanted a midfield and you clearly neglected it again. Like they wanted Tielemans. I thought maybe late on Tielemans' price went down. I thought they would have gone for him and they did nothing in the midfield area. Like Douglas Luiz was clearly not the plan if you're bidding if you're making 3 bids on the last day. Like shambles in terms of that department. I think Saka, they needed competition for Saka. Sometimes Saka, I think, plays too much and he's not really gonna like obviously him playing is very, very good for his development, but sometimes a young kid needs a rest. You were after, I think, Rafinha at one point, innit?
Yeah.
Where were the alternatives after Rafinha went Barca?
No,
There weren't any by the seams of it. I think for Arsenal, I think the biggest thing for them is Saliba's back now. Saliba's look really, really good. Let's see if they can keep.
Yeah.
I
Feels
think
like a new
he's still
signing, isn't it?
soon. Yeah, but I think his contract finishes soon as well. So Arsenal need to make sure they wrap him up before he leaves. Because you know a couple big teams will be after him if you don't sign. But I think overall, Zinchenko, you said it, brilliant signing. Different dimension to Tierney. He can come inside a lot more. Jesus, he settled him beautifully, man. Like he's looked very, very good. Made for that Arteta system, used to it, playing it under Pep. So I think overall, like the signings they have made, I would say have been very, very
Yeah.
good. But they
So,
they should have gone for more.
Yeah, no,
especially the Jesus one, it's got the potential to be signing of the season, kind of thing. Obviously, if it continues, and part of me is like, it's a shame my man played for City because I would have loved him at United. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, it was never going to happen. So, in terms, like Statman said, in terms of the players they did bring in, can't really complain. But I'm guessing they would have wanted more.
no. You can't knock what they done in the window. You can't, because they filled key areas. And people say key area. Tierney left back. Me, I've never ever seen the hype. I've never seen. Me personally, I'm a person that's. Let me see consistent performances from you for me to then label you as a this or that player. Let me not see 1 or 2 games, 3 games. Oh yeah, crosses in the box. Yeah, nice, cool. Like it doesn't cut it for me, and that's why Arsenal fans position they are in, because their expectation levels they're all over the place. Like you speak about Tierney being, oh yeah, Tierney best left back in the league. They were saying. Then Sancho comes, oh yeah, now we got the best. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like make your mind up. So Arsenal fans, I just think be realistic as well. Do you know what I mean? With your squad and what you need. Like it's clear that they needed another winger. That's one. The fact that Partey, I mean, got injured, that's normal. El Neni getting the injury as well. I think that's done them in, man. I can't lie to you, because the windows. I think that's generally, like, it might be a mad statement, but I think that's generally done them in, because no cover for when Martinelli and Saka go out of form. No cover for Xhaka, who might get injured. Partey that's gonna get injured. Elneny that is injured. Vieira that just came to the league. Let's see in there. Let's see. Let's move on to Chelsea. Move on to Chelsea, man. We have listen, Bowley has been shopping everywhere. I don't know if he's got discounts in every single club, but man, working around. I've been seeing him like, yo, you really been putting work in the summer, bro. Like, you know what I mean? No, he's doing his thing. Listen, they spent just over, I think, 270 odd mil. What are we saying? Sanch. For me, when you spend that kind of money, you can't move the goalpost and say, yo, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. But what are you spending that money on for? Do you get what I'm trying to say? You just signed Aubameyang, you just signed albeit Christensen and Rudiger are gone. You just replace them with Koulibaly and Fofana. So last season, Chelsea fans were telling us they were going for a title. Cool. This season, you've replaced, because I'm hearing Chelsea fans saying it's a replacement. I'm hearing them say Koulibaly's an upgrade on Rudiger, and I'm hearing them say things like Fofana, you know what I mean, best young defender, Saliba who. So why shouldn't Chelsea be challenging? That's my question. You see what I'm trying to say? With all the incomings that they've done this season, and with how their squad have already been, why shouldn't Chelsea be challenging? That's my question to you, Sanch.
They, be honest, they should be really. There's no other answer to that question. They obviously, if we're looking at the money spent, it's a bit on the heavy side. I think my man wanted to make a statement, obviously coming in. There was I heard so many reports. I saw Neymar, I saw Ronaldo. He wanted to get something. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I understand, because you want to do that, you got the money to do it and whatever. But I just felt a bit messy. Like, I didn't really understand what was going on. Like, obviously, like you said, Rudiger, Christensen. So if they wanted to replace them to Koulibaly and Fofana, fair enough. You got the money to do it, fair enough. What I didn't understand was obviously the Cucurella signing for that amount of money. I didn't wrap my head around it. Obviously, with having Chilwell there, then Chilwell started the season well, won the penalty on the first game of the season against Everton. Then he's not started ever since.
To be fair, I've watched Chelsea twice in the flesh this season, and I won't lie to you, bro.
No, but who? Cucurella, baller.
No, Chilwell. I get.
Oh. No, maybe. But for me, the reason I say that is because they spent 60 odd million on him, yeah, and a bit like. Yeah, do you get it? And a bit like Man United, a bit like Arsenal, you desperately need a central midfielder, in my opinion. You desperately need a number 9 that, in my opinion, should be better than Aubameyang. I don't think you should really be spending. You've just spent, I don't know how much it was, but 15 odd million on Aubameyang. So if you add Cucurella, who they've already got Chilwell there for, and Aubameyang's fee, you've got around 70 odd million to buy a striker, which I think is of more importance. Or you split it both ways and get a centre mid and a striker, again, which I think is of more importance. Just a bit baffling, really. I don't think Jorginho has got it anymore to play in that midfield. Conte, as you've seen, injury prone, a bit like Partey. His best days are behind him. So yeah, I thought there was more pressing issues. Again, like I said with the other two teams, there were pressing issues that they didn't look at, and they've now looked at them yesterday. But by no stretch of the imagination do I think Dennis Zakaria and Aubameyang will be good enough for them to challenge. Personally, quality back five. I'm not gonna lie, the back five with the keeper, brilliant. Can't really top that. But moving on to midfield and then strike, I think they missed the trick there to just actually strengthen.
What's your thoughts, Statman? Do you agree with what Sanch?
Very Ed Woodward-esque, man. There was no planning for that. That's the way I looked at it. I think, don't get me wrong, I think Sterling's a quality player. I think that's a good signing. I like.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Sorry, I forgot about Sterling. Yeah.
But like you said, it Cucurella. Don't get me wrong. I know Chilwell was coming back from an injury, but you said it. Money could have been spent elsewhere. Like, even they were getting desperate towards the end. I think Memphis Depay would have been a better signing than Aubameyang, personally. I think I think even towards the end of the window, like 2-3 weeks left, they're going after Aubameyang. I think Zaha's better than him right now.
No, Zaha would have been a game changer.
I think Zaha, Premier League proven, you're probably spending 30 to 40 million pounds. I think he has a year left on his deal. I think that could have been money that Chelsea could have spent there, and it would have been much better for Chelsea. And I think you said it, the midfield area, like Jorginho struggling a bit right now, struggled a bit last season. Kovacic, I think is quality, but he does get his fair share of injuries. Same thing with Conte. He said his best days are behind him. And then Zakaria. Come on, man. Like, I don't know.
They signed him. When did they sign it? I don't know if they signed him or got him on loan, but was it in January? I think it was in January, and now they've shipped him out again.
Yeah. Like,
so it says it all, innit?
Like, they could have gone with someone like, you know that Conte guy from Borussia Mönchengladbach?
Yeah.
They could have went with so many guys. That's the point. Look, you saw Liverpool pull it out. We're gonna get onto them, but pulling out stuff out there. There was things to do yesterday. There was things to do. Agents were on the phone, so there's no excuse.
And the thing is, the Chelsea last 2 days, £50 million for Alvarez. Come on, man. Like, if you really wanted him, surely you do it a bit earlier. You were panicking towards the end. Even then, they went to Sangara. Sangara they couldn't get, and then it was eventually Zachary, or however you say his name. Like, come on, man! Like, what was the planning from Chelsea? But listen, man.
Gordon.
Yeah, that's another one. Like, listen, man. Tuchel, you can't say you haven't been backed. You got a lot of players in. You spent big money. They need results, and Tuchel needs a proper identity and style of play in my eyes right now. Because he's
for his
struggling a bit.
for his sake, Aubameyang needs to hit. I know we've been saying there's better options out there, but obviously he did do well when last season when he joined up with the Barcelona team. So for Tuchel's sake, I feel like Aubameyang needs to hit the ground running. I don't think he will.
The Aubameyang one was clearly a Tuchel signing as well, because you know Tuchel said he has a special relationship with Aubameyang and stuff, innit? So there's no excuses on that part.
Now, let's be clear. Tuchel's really gonna have the what do you call it? The eyes on him. All eyes on him. Because when you deep it, yeah, they had so much pressing issues. Every Chelsea fan will tell you that. And what did they decide to do? They decided to spend about 40 odd or 50 odd on young. Okay. Will that look good in a few years? Possibly. Albeit, it might. But right now, it doesn't make sense when you could have spent that money on other key areas, on Premier League proven players. So, yeah, it's all good trying to sign the next upcoming talent so you can be years ahead of your rivals and things like that. But what's the point of doing it when you still need to strengthen your attack?
And I'd rather, with all due respect to Zachary, I'd rather not even bring him into the building. Like, it just reminds me a bit of the Saul loan. Like, I feel like it's going to be identical, if I'm honest with you. But I'd just rather not have you in the building. If is he going to start? Unless he comes on and pulls up trees, I don't see him starting either. So it's just a bit of I don't understand. And a lot of people say it like when you're running around for players on the last day of the window, that doesn't really show that you've got a plan, really.
Yeah, just a bit like us, man. Just like little simple things like we could have got Anthony for what 50, 60 million euros. That would have enabled us to get someone like Cody Gakpo, who came out today saying everything, basically all be it saying everything was done with United and we pulled out. So if we was more smart, we would have been able to get both. So it's just a bit like Chelsea where you're just scratching your head at some of the things that they did. Like you're signing Chukwuemeka, yes, talent. We know. We've heard whatnot. But do you need him right now? Like, do you need him right now? Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it's not a pressing matter. So on Chelsea's behalf, it's looking very, very techie for them. Very techie for two. DH still in the building. Pulisic still in the building. Yeah, they picked up Werner. But what's that? Havertz. I had Havertz stocks, you know. Bro, before he came in, I was gassing up Havertz to the point where man them are looking at me like, bro, like, are you sure you even you know about my man? He's had 3 games in the Prem. They're looking at me like, yo, your ball knowledge is on the floor. I'm like, yeah, do me like that, yeah. But nah, trust me, it's looking techie for Chelsea, jokes aside, in terms of like their recruitment. Because it just seems like they don't know what they're doing. They sacked Marina, left everything in Tuchel and Bowley's hands, sacked Petr Cech. No planning, just like us.
I think the only excuse they can really get owners came in late kind of thing, innit? Let's see what they do in January to get a director of football in, because they've been linked to that Mike Edwards guy, the guy that was at Liverpool before, innit?
Yeah.
Let's see if they can get a director of football in, but they can't keep running at this. They're just gonna blow money just like United.
No, fair point. Fair point. I'll just say it's just more on Tuchel signing players like Aubameyang. Do you get what I mean? We know, yeah, like, you're in control. So are you basically telling me like when you have sporting director things and they ask you who you're trying to go for, this is the profiling of the players that you're going to be trying to go for? Doesn't, you know what I mean? It's not. It don't look good. Yeah. So we're gonna have to wait and see on that one. Still, let's move on to Liverpool. Liverpool's transfer window for me has been a weird one. Still, weird. And when they spent, I believe personally, like for me, I'm not gonna lie. I think if Liverpool halted on that Nunes deal and just, I don't know, in hindsight, I think they might not have signed him. You know, it might sound like a mad statement, but I just feel like they were hasty. I think going into the window with it starting, knowing Mane was more time leaving because conversations would have been had prior. I think they were just saying, yeah, what can we get right now that's literally upcoming? And do you get what I mean? Who's the hottest right now on the scene? They knew they weren't going to get Haaland because Liverpool, for starters, can't spend that money in regards to agent fees and wages and things like that. We know how it was trying to secure Salah's deal and obviously Mane leaving. So on that basis, I think it's a sticky one for Liverpool. You know, Nunes, the slander on him, I think, has been much. It's nice, isn't it? Rival fans, yeah, it's funny, and I hear it, innit? Do you know what I mean? I joined him, yeah, cool. I think he's going to chip in with a lot of goals. Do I think that's what Liverpool needs? Nah, because I mentioned it a few times on obviously different shows with Sanch. That I think Mane's link-up play and Firmino's link-up play was key to why Liverpool was winning so many games. We saw that with Firmino literally coming in the side the other day and how he played and how he was dropping deep and how he was creating space for runners. So I think that's the reason why it might solely basing that on Mane would be ludicrous because I think there's other reasons like their midfield. Do you know what I mean? But I think it started with Mane. Taking away all their goals for someone like Nunes, who you don't know if they're going to hit the ground running, I think was a big risk. I think Haaland, it's different dynamic. You know, my man's done it in champs, like consistent. You know, he's done it against the big boys. Like this ain't no joke. So I think Liverpool flopped on that, and because at the end of the day, they're trying to keep up with Liverpool. So if you see your rival signing Haaland and we're signing someone that's not proven, you tell me, boys. What's your thoughts, that man?
I'll be honest. I think because the striker market's not great. Like that's my opinion. Like Liverpool, like, Nunes is probably one of the best strikers available. Like the striker market is really, really bad currently, which is why I'm like, with that deal, listen, Liverpool's attacking recruitment has been very good. Like even for example, Jota the year or two before. I don't rate Jota as a player, but this guy just gets goals kind of thing, isn't it? Luis Diaz settled it very well. So I think Darwin Núñez overall will be fine. And we saw it in the Community Shield.
He'll get goals.
He was a handful. Yeah, he will get goals kind of thing, innit? I think midfield, like you guys spoke about it, they needed the midfield. I'll be honest, like Fabinho, I think Fabinho's quality, but let's be honest, for the last year, he hasn't looked like the same Fabinho.
I don't know what's happened. It's been so sudden as well. I don't, yeah.
Like Thiago, I think it's quality, but we know his injury record. And then there's that right centre mid row where they're clearly waiting for Bellingham next year. But what if Bellingham don't come? Then you pretty much wasted a year getting no midfielder because you're waiting for Bellingham, who might end up going Man City, for example, or Real Madrid. You never know. Which is why I'm like, Liverpool are very, very silly not getting another midfielder. I think after deadline day, listen, Jurgen Klopp was clearly panicking towards the end. He kept saying we don't need a midfielder. Then last week he said we needed a midfielder. You on loan, you can't really go wrong in my eyes. And I think when he has the ball, when he has the ball in possession, I think he's fine. As long as Liverpool have one of Thiago, Keita, and Arthur fit, I think they'll be fine in that area, kind of thing, innit? I think Calvin Ramsey back up for Trent. I don't really know much about him, but he's clearly highly rated. And then Fabio Carvalho, I think Fabio Carvalho looks really, really good. I think that could be one of the signings of the season in terms of maybe not this season settling in straight away, because even though he's got a goal the other day, long term, I think he looks really, really good.
Yeah.
But then I think Liverpool overall will be disappointed. They needed that midfielder so bad. Because even like Ox, I swear Ox is still at the club.
Mm-hmm.
Milner's still there. Henderson, don't get me started on Henderson. Who else? Curtis Jones, let's be honest, they ain't pulling trees for them, and I think he's injured as well.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of bodies in that midfield area that are just not good, and you're trying to compete with Man City, one of the best sides the Premier League scene, you could argue. That's how good they're, one of the best sides in Europe. And then you do that to compete with them. They needed more in my eyes.
Yeah. No. I think Klopp, he he had a wake-up call, man. He was thinking, yeah, I could do this with the same.
Yeah, I
For
think
me,
it's an ignorance thing. I think 100%. Obviously, I understand he trusts Milner, Henderson, but rocking up to that with at Old Trafford, just in only the third game of the season. I when I saw that midfield, I was licking my lips. I was like, we could win it today,
same.
because you don't want to be saying that against a United side that got battered for the first 2 games of the season, you know. So again, another club where you had the opportunity to go on and maybe even get 2 centre mids. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, and because you didn't, you ended up fielding that midfield at Old Trafford, and then you ended up getting Arthur in a let's be honest, it was a bit of a desperate situation getting him in. It was desperate getting him in yesterday, and that could have all been avoided. Like you said, Nunes is probably one of the better options in the striker market, but then again, could they have lived without him and maybe waited another year with obviously Firmino and Jota? Maybe not. They ideally probably didn't want to do that, but my question is, could they have done that? Would they have been better off getting a midfielder, 2 central midfielders? So yeah, it's just a lot of questions again asked about another top club's business. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't think anyone's really happy with the business, you know.
Yeah. I'm looking at it. I'm thinking like, I've not. There's yet for me to go there and be like, yeah, this window, boom. Do you get it? Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing about the transfer window. People forget listen, it's a long transfer window. So what happens at the start doesn't necessarily mean it's going to end up with it being positive at the end. It shows for United, us started off signing obviously Malacia and Ericsson, and at that point, and obviously Martinez. At that point, fans were like in their heads thinking, what are we really going to be doing at the end of the transfer window? So ended up getting Casemiro and Anthony. Smiles on our faces. Arsenal, one in the winger, one in the midfielder, didn't get it in, started the window. Zinchenko, Jesus, smiles on their face. So, yeah, it was a long transfer window. I'm so glad it ended, man. It's ended now. What we saying for City, man? City, they done. Listen, Sanch was just saying he doesn't know a team that's done good business in terms of their whole transfer window, as in it being collectively positive. I think City have done a blinder, mate. I don't know where to start, and if I should even start on their incomings or even their outgoings. The outgoings are, as for me, important. They're as important. Getting Alvarez in for their incomings, getting Haaland in for their incomings, getting Calvin Phillips as well has literally addressed is in their side. Haaland straight away what he brings. Don't even need to spend too long on it. The guy's genuinely Oli told everyone, right? Oli told everyone. You get me? Nah. Haaland is a beast, man. And for me, I said it on my predictions show. He's breaking records. He's gonna break the record. I'm showing you. It doesn't. It's nice to say as a United fan, but I mean, bro, the guy is actually a beast. So yeah, I think City obviously getting in when Fernandinho was and shows they're quick on the boil. They ain't got time to waste. They phase you out. Do you know what I mean? Even though Pep wanted Fernandinho to stay, it's like, all right, cool. You wanna go? Cool, we replace you. Conte, Jorginho, all these guys still there. You know what I mean? Chelsea still, as we mentioned, getting Zakaria. So I think some good business, man, with their incoming. I want to touch on outgoings as well. Lavia selling him to Southampton. They've obviously got other young ballers in the academy that they got that East Boreu that obviously plays for I think they loaned him to Marseille, but they've got a lot of talent in their academy right now, and they can really be making plays from their academy. So I think what City has built in a short period of time, it's been crazy, man. I won't lie. What's your thoughts, boys, on what they've done this transfer?
Go on, start. Let you.
I think they made a profit this summer. Like, how are you making a profit and signing Erling Haaland? Like, their summer window in terms of actual business has been incredible. Calvin Phillips, he said it. They needed the midfielder with Fernandinho going, and they straight away got Calvin Phillips. Like, they replaced pace so quickly and so nicely compared to other clubs. And then he's like, Akanji, I think he'd probably be like the fourth, fifth choice centre back. You can't really go wrong. He's barely going to play. And even Cucurella, for example, they were asking for a silly price. City walked away and got that Gomez guy from Anderlecht. I don't know much about him, but you know what he's clearly planning in that signing.
I'm sure he'll play.
Fair play to Man City. Like, they planned very, very well. Outgoings, he said it. Even Lavia. I think he's quality, by the way, but City have a buyback.
Yeah, 40 mil.
£40 million. It's not like us with Ghana where we don't have a buyback. They're planned in terms of if he performs to a high enough level, they're going to bring him back. And even if it might not be for City, let's be honest. If he continues to perform like this, City getting back and they just sell him on for much more and make a profit. Like, fair play to Man City, man. Fair play. But I do think this is my only negative. I still feel like they need one more winger. Just a bit more pace and power out wide, like a Sterling that could run in behind, like a Jesus that could do those runs. I still feel like they probably lack that one guy.
What's your thought process, Sanch? You agree?
Yeah, 100%. I was obviously, when you bring in someone like Erling Haaland, someone as exciting as Alvarez, I think Phillips, he speaks for himself, and obviously he's like you both said, Fernandinho went, Phillips just filled it in. But more so with the outgoings, I was so confused. I'm not gonna lie, I did not understand the Sterling sale. Like, obviously, if you're bringing Alvarez and Haaland in, as much as I understand and as much as I love Jesus the player, I understand why you let him go, because obviously you're bringing in two more striking options, so there's not really a place for Jesus. So I get it. With Sterling, I just didn't get. Till now, I still don't understand. I still don't get it.
It wasn't entirely based on what do you call it? It was based. They wanted to phase him out. No. They didn't want to phase him out. They didn't. Pep wasn't confirming to how much game time he'll get. Do you get? So as a player like Sterling, who's done so much for the club, he's probably thinking, I don't know what, because you're trying to sign new players. Is that why you're basically trying to violate, man? That's what I think, innit? So
no, 100%. But even that convo, bro, I don't understand it, because I feel like
that's a madman.
I see
2 days ago or yesterday, him coming out with a statement saying he doesn't need to explain why.
Why he doesn't.
Let's be real. It's self-explanatory. Pep more time said to him, "Yo, can't offer you da." But Pep probably wasn't even saying it to phase him out, bro. If you're actually deep in it, I can't lie. I said that and I contradict myself straight away, because Bernardo's trying to leave and let's be real, you're sucking my. You're not.
I'll be honest. You see, with Pep, for me, it's kind of like he's that type of manager where, like, if you want to leave in it.
But
you don't care.
Say Bernardo should leave.
Wait, say that again?
You weren't trying to say Bernardo Silva should leave.
But you weren't really. I wouldn't say he was sucking him off, kind of thing, innit? I wouldn't go that far, kind of thing, innit? Like, if we're looking at, remember Ferran Torres, for example. Ferran Torres left in January. He was just like, yeah, go leave, kind of thing, innit? Pep seems that type of guy. He said he did the same thing with Jesus. I think with Sterling, I do agree. I think they should have kept him, because we've seen what Sterling can do with actual number 9. His best football comes when he actually has a number 9, because he's so good at finding those spaces. And especially Haaland, like, if you're a defender, you're going to focus on Erling Haaland. Sterling's going to find very, very good pockets of space because he's extremely good at that.
No, that's something I was saying to my boy that's a Chelsea fan. That when they signed Sterling, I was saying, yeah, good signing, nice. But what comes with him? So I'm looking around your team and I'm seeing guys like Ziyech, I'm seeing guys like Pulisic, I'm seeing guys that all do that, you know what I mean? Loftus, Mount that hasn't picked up form. So I'm seeing all of those facets around him, and I'm thinking, bro, how are you really gonna get the best out of him if you're playing him in false 9 with Havertz as well? So I was always saying to him that get a number 9, that's when we're gonna where I think Sterling's really, really gonna be feasting. I agree with you, lot. On one hand, On the other hand, I disagree. So on the one hand, yeah, Pep, where's your player to run in behind and things like that? That literally just has blistering speed. But then Haaland, let's be real. Haaland is off, bro. He's off. He's gone. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think a lot of people deep it because he hasn't really been cutting any stride. On the other hand, you have to move on as well. Like City have won 4, you know what I mean? 4 Premier Leagues. Like when are you gonna start changing your?
Evolving kind of thing, innit?
Do you get what I mean? That's why Liverpool are looking how Liverpool are looking right now, bro. And it's looking very, very techie for the Klopp era because they didn't phase players out at the right time. Do you know what I mean? So,
The thing is, you can't really argue with Pep in it after what he's won. But listen, well, that's what we're here for, innit? We're content creators.
yeah,
yeah, but
We think we know better than the manager half the time.
literally, bro.
yeah,
Literally.
no, you're right. It's right, but it's just I just look at it on face value and I can't wrap my head around it because it's like he offers something different to the other players they've got. And like you said with Erling Haaland, it would have just been cash money, if I'm honest with you. It would have just been even better than what it's been already. But then I also understand T saying you got to evolve, and I understand you got to evolve, and that's what United haven't done. We haven't let go of players at the right time. So in hindsight, maybe Sterling might have been let go at the right time. We will yet to be seen. I'm sure City will survive, but just that sell and even a little bit Zinchenko. I didn't really they've tried to shift him on a few summers now, and every time he's not been shifted on, he's become pretty much a first team regular, and he's important, and he was important, and he played a massive part in that last game of the season against Villa. I like him, and again, I was confused at that sell. But again, when it's City, when it's Pep Guardiola, you're not really going to feel it too much, whether you get it right or wrong, because you're going to survive anyways. But yeah, with the guys they brought in, can't spot on really, and with the guys they let go, can't wrap my head around Sterling mainly, and the other two is a bit of a question mark as well. But like I said, when you're City and you got that firepower and that money, you can pretty much do what you want.
How good do you want to be, though? That's the question. So you look at depth, and we speak about depth a lot. We speak about City having the best depth. Why do you have the best? Because they have players like Grealish that they can bring on, Gundogan that they can bring on. Do you know what I'm trying to say? They've got centre backs like Ake that they can rely on. So then the question then starts arise where it's like, how can you improve on your backups? So a player like Zinchenko, he's never going to reach Cancelo. I think all fans would, you know what I mean, admit that Cancelo's ceiling is, you know what I mean, and Zinchenko's is. So then could Pep have been looking at it like, okay, this Sergi Gomez guy from Anderlecht, maybe he can reach.
No, definitely, because he obviously was looking at Cucurella in it, so I'm sure that was the thinking behind it. But yeah, but like Statman said, maybe that's why Pep, because he obviously sees.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't know much about that Sergio Gomez guy, but I think he offers like a different dynamic in it because you know how Cancelo wants to come inside. Zinchenko is basically the same thing, and he's an inverted fullback, whereas Cucurella can obviously make the runs on the outside. I don't know much about Sergio Gomez guy, but I'm gonna guess he's probably similar to Cucurella in that aspect. So it gives him something different.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%. He's already played. So,
like I said, bro, when you're this good, that rich, the gaffer you got, I'm telling you now, Pep could sell anyone in that City squad and he'll survive. He will be challenging for the title at the end of the season. So it's a bit of like a cheat code. I'm not gonna lie. We can, yeah.
Yeah, when your recruitment's on point, I'm not surprised, man. Like
they'll sell De Bruyne and bring in a madness. Like it's just yeah.
Trust, literally. Spurs. Let's touch on Spurs because I got a lot of things to say. Sanch, got guys. Hey, listen. I got to start with Sanch, man, because we done our predictions last week or 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whenever it was. Cool. And obviously, Sanch was big, not Spurs, isn't it? on the basis of doing better than the rest. We're speaking about Spurs and Liverpool, innit, Sanch?
Mm.
Cool. So I want to know your thoughts on their recruitment, Sanch. Because me personally, I was hasty. That's why I was hasty giving them credit, and obviously the transfer window just closed, so there's nothing set in stone in it. But me personally, their recruitment, even though it looked good on paper and for what they needed, I still feel like they lack the edge, the cutting edge, the dynamic,
that creative midfielder kind of thing, isn't it?
The creativity. Like, I don't know. Their counter is always gonna be do you know what I mean? Like, serious, because they can always like turn you over. But when I'm talking about when you're in possession and you're popping things off, I'm looking to my left if I'm a Spurs player and I'm seeing Højbjerg. Then I'm looking to my right and I'm seeing Emerson Royale on the other side of the pitch. On the other side, you get what I'm trying to say? Sometimes I'm seeing Sessegnon, I see Perisic. I don't know the dynamics, but for me, I feel like they needed a creative midfield. I think getting Richarlison was good because he's Premier League proven. I don't know if 60 million was making a bit. At the time, I was thinking, okay, yeah, cool. But when you look back at it, and that's the beauty of the transfer window closing, because we're seeing deals that have happened, and we're thinking, oh, we could have dealt with that player, at United. We could have, you know what I mean? That player could have went here. That player could have went there. So I think 60 million on Richarlison was outlandish. I understand it because he's Premier League proven. You know what you're going to get. There's no if, buts, or maybes. There's no settling period. He's there, innit? The fee was a bit techy, but the fee's techie for every club, man. This transfer window, man. Look at us hashing out 100 million euros on Anthony when we could have got him for half. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know about Richarlison with the fee, man. I don't know if they're going to look back on it and think, oh, we could have used it to... Just like Liverpool, we could have used it to sign a midfielder. They ended up signing Richarlison. They could have signed better depth for cheaper and incorporated another midfielder. Do you know what I mean? Because we were hearing they wanted Zaniolo, hearing they wanted Madison, hearing they wanted all of these players. So you can't tell me Spurs weren't looking for a creative midfielder. You can then call it bad planning because they signed Richarlison for that much money. They didn't use this, you know what I mean, to strengthen up places in the side. But what's your thoughts? I'll come to you.
I think I even mentioned it. Like, if it was any other manager and you named the transfers that came in, you would have said, bro, this is a whole load of mid, bro. You would have been like, this is just not going to get you anything. Maybe Richarlison, Bissouma, Spence moving forward, but outside of that, you would have been like, nah, that's nowhere near enough. But because of this Conte guy, because of the way his system is, and obviously, and all of that, you have to kind of add that tax to it. You look at Perisic, you know he's going to use him as a wing back. You look at Richarlison, you know he's going to use him the way he's been using him. You look at Spence, and yeah, he's a young kid, and yeah, he's got world's his oyster. And if he puts him in right wing back, I won't be surprised if he's pulling up trees week in, week out. You look at Langley, wasn't pulling up trees at Barcelona. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes into the back three and starts looking a completely different player. Look at Eric Dyer. Even my boy Davinson Sanchez come in and he looks competent. But yeah, that was the reason why I said it. And I feel like if Conte does the way he got them playing towards the back end of last season, and obviously with those additions, I do feel he needs to start playing them though now. I feel like he's obviously given a chance to the older guards for the start of the season, and they've been okay. They've obviously performance-wise, there's been a lot of question marks. They've got results. But I feel like if they bring in Bissouma and Spence, they go up a level. I don't like Højbjerg and Bentancur at all. So I agree with your sentiment that they could have got a central midfielder. But then on the flip side, I go, was he really going to then yank out Højbjerg and Bentancur at the same time to bring in 2 centre mids? I just don't see someone like Conte doing that. Do you get what I'm saying? And I'm sure
you can only play how you play. Conte sets up with 2 DMs as 2.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I'm sure he loves the pair of them. Do you get it? I'm sure he loves the pair of them. So I agree with you in terms of the central midfielder. With regards to everyone else, I feel like, I'm not gonna lie, if he gets them all playing, I think they'll be more than all right because of him and because of the system he sets out in. I had to see Victor Moses pull up trees. I couldn't believe my eyes when he was doing it for Chelsea, and whoever else he was playing who I thought wasn't good enough. So Conte's that type of manager. He done it with. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like he done it for Inter, he done it for Chelsea. It's like he can make this level player go up this level.
Water to wine, Conte. That's him.
So I agree with you, bro. If we're gonna get that out on paper and put Ole next to that transfer list, you're probably thinking, no, that's not good. But if you're gonna put someone like Conte in, you're gonna be like, yeah, bro, I trust him to make it work. They do need more. That's why I don't think they'll be anywhere near a title charge. I don't think they'll be anywhere close to winning it. But I do think they'll finish second or third. I'm not gonna lie. I think they'll get enough results, as they've shown. They've had 2 tough away games. They managed not to lose. I feel like they kind of got the attitude where, okay, if we don't win that game, we can't lose that game. And they done that at the Bridge and they done that at West Ham, which is 2 tough away games. You could lose them games. And they've won the rest. So it's like, fair enough. And I feel like that's going to be a lot of the same for the rest of the season. So, yeah, the signings ain't nothing to shout on the street about, but I feel like under Conte, anything's possible. And you can't, as a Spurs fan, I understand your frustrations. You might want to create a midfielder. You might have wanted a better right wing back coming in, with all due respect to Spence and Perisic. You might have wanted better in them areas. You might have wanted a better centre-half coming in. You might have wanted better. I get it. But like I said, just hold your horses until the end of the season, because with Conte, anything's possible, man.
What are you saying, man?
Spot on. It's literally because it's Conte that we're allowing this. Because in my eyes, the way I looked at Spurs, I think they needed a better centre back. Like, I know it probably wouldn't have happened, but Bastoni from Inter Milan, Koulibaly, Pau Torres.
Yeah.
Just someone else that ilk and that maybe that left centre back role would have been a massive upgrade on what Ben Davies and everything. And don't get me wrong, they've done fine kind of thing in it, but there's levels kind of thing in it. I think you lot said it, creative midfielder. I do feel like sometimes they just look. I don't know what the word is. Like they just struggle sometimes to break down a low block. Don't get me wrong, Kulu, however you say his name, quality, are doing that. But they still lack that one more piece kind of thing. Like you said, they were linked to Maddison, for example. I think even like Christian Eriksen on the free transfer coming off the bench could have been a good signing for them. But they didn't really do that. But Richarlison, like you lot said it, maybe Price. But listen, I think he's got double-figure goals 3 times at the last 4 years in the Premier League. And that's probably the growing rate for...
I'm surprised he even went for that, bro. Considering Everton got history of like asking for loads. So it's like, fair enough.
Like that's Tottenham for you kind of thing. And I do feel like he's a Conte type player. I'll be honest, I love Richarlison on Twitter. He's the biggest wind-up. I think if he was at my club, I would love it. And I think Spurs fans would love it as well. But that's it really, innit? You're allowing them because it's Conte. But let's see what they can do in it.
No, 100%.
No, like I said, I do feel he needs to start playing them, though. I'm not going to lie. I understand, you know, Ten Hag's done it a bit with Casemiro and stuff, but, bro, play Spence, play Basuma, play Perisic, play even Lenglet, because I feel like they're better than what you've got already. Do you get it?
I think he came out and said, like, the first couple of games where like, I'm showing faith because these look got me top 4 kind of thing, innit?
Yeah. I understand that.
Right, eventually, you're going to have to change it kind of thing, innit?
Yeah.